Tonight, welcome to the first episode of Cinema Discussions. We are going to be talking about Marvel's Captain America Civil War, the film in theaters now as of the time we are recording this one. We're not going to spoil anything yet. We're going to spoil anything in just a bit. But if you haven't seen the movie yet, let's give some quick recommendations for this. I'd say anyone that likes the other Marvel movies should go see this movie. If you didn't like the other Marvel movies, you're probably not going to enjoy this because it's going to be a lot of Marvel characters. This one seems like the easiest kind of recommendation for a movie to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like the other stuff, go see this. If you don't like the other stuff, don't go see it.
I mean, and I'll say we've both read the comic.
Yes.
We are both familiar with it, and I went into it knowing like how awesome the comic is, and then going, oh God, I just realized, no, I have high expectations for the film, but then still not being disappointed.
Yeah. I was not disappointed in it. It's not the same as the comic, but it's got a lot of the same spirit in there.
Yes, that's the important thing.
And the same thing that Marvel's been doing with a lot of their stories, with Age of Ultron, with Winter Soldier. They're not sticking to the word of the comic book, but they're keeping the main parts intact, so that you're getting the crucial parts of the story and the emotional stuff that you want to get in there for the most part.
Yes. I think being forced into, considering from my perspective, being forced into what they had to do to make this film work, there was one complaint I had.
Okay. You want to get into that now or get into that later?
Later. We have to do it. We have to do it later.
Chris, you haven't seen this movie because you're a terrible person.
I'm just the what's that, Peep Show or the Popcorn Gallery?
Peanut Gallery, yeah. So
I'm the Peep Show. Yeah.
So you're not allowed to have a recommendation on this.
I don't.
Yeah.
Except that you don't like the Marvel.
What's your recommendation on this?
I think it's very important that you go and see the other Captain America movies before you see this. Absolutely. I was forced to see Winter Soldier, which I hadn't seen beforehand, before I saw...
So you did it correctly.
Yes, Civil War, and that was very important because there was a lot of pieces that would not have made sense. And even Avengers Age of Ultron is a good precursor because there's so much information.
I think the minimum required viewing for this is Captain America Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, Avengers Age of Ultron. You need to at least see those two movies. It does help to, I mean, you get enhanced by seeing Ant-Man. You get enhanced by the first Marvel's Avengers because that's the formation of the crew. But you can go into
and then it could I think even be furthered by the first Captain America.
Yeah, the first Captain America gets the backstory, but that gives added stuff to it. But you don't really need the origin story on that.
Not as hard.
It does give a little more towards builds to Winter Soldier, and of course, seeing all the films makes it the most enjoyable. However, I mean, in this story, we're gonna get into spoilers now, and I'll continue on with this sentence.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert for the comic book of Civil War and the movie Captain America Civil War. But of course, you've all seen the movie because who hasn't? It's the #1 movie in the box office for the weekend. It's going to continue to be #1 for a while. So
what's an Avenger?
Like
oh God,
we're
not talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not talking about an Avengers
Sean
film.
Connery.
This is not an Avengers movie.
It's not an Avengers film. This is clearly Captain America and nothing else. So I was going to say, to continue that sentence, you don't really need to see the Thor movies to watch this movie.
No, you don't need to be that Thor.
No.
Not essential.
Yeah. He don't show up. And Hulk, you don't need to watch that one either.
No.
Well, some would argue you don't need to watch it anyway, but...
That's good stuff. This movie, the big thing is going into it was waiting to see if they were going to get Spider-Man.
Yeah,
because
Spiderman.
Because Spider-Man, if you've read the comic of Civil War, if you haven't, you should still. I still recommend.
Super pivotal.
Pivotal character in the book, and I'm gonna say I'll put a thing up on to say Spider-Man spoiler here or comic book spoiler in front of this thing. And maybe it'll go over afterwards. We'll see what I can do. But.
You can assume we're going to spoil everything at this point.
The crucial thing in the book of Civil War is of having Spider-Man is that when he goes onto Tony Stark's side, and a part of the Accords is that. So the part they didn't get into in the movie about the Accords, but I'm sure it is in there, is about the superheroes having to release their identities. Because if you're registering with a government organization, you can't register with a pseudonym. You're going to be registered with your actual identity.
With your legal name, yeah.
So that means that any hero that is masked, and so Tony Stark already came out and said, I'm Iron Man. Steve Rogers, everyone knows him.
Yeah.
So they don't matter on that one. But there's lots of people who do have their secret identities, and mostly to protect their families. With Peter Parker, it's protecting Aunt May.
Yeah.
And then subsequently protecting any of his love interests in there.
And then that's potentially why Hawkeye, they
Yes.
introduced the family.
Yes, they introduce his family in there so that you just
He has something to protect now.
exactly.
Yeah.
So those are things where you don't want to be giving up that identity to protect them. It's not just about, and it is partially a big part of it is about them not being able to help someone. And I'll get into that in a minute too. But starting with this story, the reason they couldn't do that reveal in there into the same way is if they were to have Spider-Man in the movie revealing his identity. You've just introduced a new Spider-Man and you're doing a new film series about Spider-Man. And if this had been one of the previous Spider-Mans, then you could continue on in that storyline. But you would be forcing Sony into a corner by giving them a Spider-Man who's Peter Parker. Everyone knows that he's Spider-Man. And that completely screws them over for that.
Yeah.
Plus, there's so much plot you already have in this movie to go into that you don't really necessarily need that. But so
I enjoyed...
It made Spider-Man not as essential as everyone was saying you can't do Civil War without Spider-Man. Because while he was crucial to this plot, he's now become not so crucial to the movie.
Yeah.
Not that he wasn't enjoyable in the film.
I still think that they can make... I don't know. I still think that they can make that, and they're going to make that a deal.
They could. They could bring it up later if they continue on with this stuff, but that's a thought of if they...
It just depends. And I think that was the move they made. That was the play they made with how much they use Spider-Man in this one. Mm-hmm. Is that, and I'm going to keep using that word, is that they wanted to go, okay, this is really cool. We really do want to involve this. We want to put this in the story. We want to have this. I think they still want to have the reveal there, but I think they're testing the waters maybe with how people react to even having him in, how they react to the actor himself.
I think that if they're
how Sony and them end up dealing, and just all of that. Like they want to test all those bridges before they make it a big deal, because once they make something a big deal, they can't take it back.
Well, I feel like they're building up a lot. I mean, how much am I allowed to ruin the comic books?
Absolutely.
Everything.
Okay, I feel like they're building up a lot of Spider-Man's story, because in the comic books he does eventually switch teams, and it's like they were setting that up at this point, because Spider-Man didn't really know Captain's side of the argument. They even said that in the movie. Iron Man said he said himself when Captain asked him, "What has Iron Man told you about me?" He's like, "Well, you're the bad guy, essentially. That's all I know." So as he learns more, that's when he might make the switch, and they're like building up to that.
The sad thing in this, while I think it looks like they're building up to those things, I don't think they're going to get to explore that because of the movies that they have on the slate. The next time you get to see that, we know that we get to see all the Avengers together, is going to be in Infinity Wars, which they're going to change the names of those ones they announced recently, but they're because that's going to be the next thing. There's going to be Thanos that they're going to have to deal with. It's going to be all this stuff that's going to be consuming them, that the war of registration isn't going to be a big factor. But it could be discussed in a future Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how much the Avengers are going to be involved in Spider-Man's movie, making it...
They're definitely going to have an appearance somewhere in there. I think I heard something about that. There's going to be at least one Avenger popping up somewhere in there.
At least.
At least. Which it's also great because now we're not going to get another Spider-Man origin story, which we don't need another one of those.
Yeah,
Bless.
please.
So we can just continue on with this. We've already established he's been doing
this
it.
was enough.
Yeah.
This was
That's
enough.
all you needed.
Seriously.
But Spider-Man's scene was essential in this film.
The people that care enough about Civil War and care enough about all these characters know enough already that they can make a broad assumption.
It's the same thing with anytime you do Superman or Batman. You don't need to get those origin stories. We get it. We know where they're from in this. You can put your offhanded reference in there. The same way any comic book, especially with Stan Lee when he was doing them, he and I'm sure the rest of his crews too, Jack Kirby and all that. But I've heard Stan Lee talk about this. The reason I say him. He always wanted to make that any comic book you pick up can work for your first comic you've ever read. So you're gonna get you're gonna get enough references in there to someone's past if you need something in there about it.
Yeah.
So that's why this movie shows it. You get to see Tony Stark talking about his parents dying and the death of his parents, where in other movies the death of his parents isn't a big factor. They do mention it when it's needed in certain things. So in this one, it's crucial to that story. So you've brought that up in the beginning of it. So in a comic where it's essential to know that, you're going to need that. But in another one where it's just Spider-Man battling some random person, you don't need to know that his parents were killed or any of that stuff. Or
Yeah,
watch
it's not.
Die.
That's how the movies are built more like the comics, though, is that they're able to give you the essential information you need within the film as opposed
Exactly.
to needing the backstory all the time.
So
Just kind of fabulous.
So I was going to say, with Spider-Man's scene, it becomes a crucial scene to the film because it's the first time that Iron Man really gets to see Captain America's side of things. When he's talking to, so he asks Spider-Man, he's trying to get to know more about what he's doing, and he asks him why he does this, why he's a crime fighter, and he says the great speech of before I was just a nerdy kid, I built computers because that's all I could do. Then this thing happened to me, and I had all this great agility and strength, but I couldn't play football before, so I shouldn't play football now. So already he can't do that. But the best line of it is when you see something bad happening, before, if something bad happens, it's terrible. But now that I have this ability, if I don't stop it from happening, it becomes my fault. The look on Tony Stark's face when Spider-Man says that, part of it is when I, at least my interpretation of seeing it, his face reaction to that, part of it is, okay, this kid's in it for the right reasons, but also he gets this look of realization, as far as I'm reading that, as to what Steve Rogers was saying in the earlier scene of what if they don't want us to go somewhere and something's going to happen? We're just not going to go. We're just going to let these bad things happen somewhere else.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's already on Captain's side if he were to actually talk to him, because I'm not going to let bad thing happen when I have the ability to do it just because these people say that I can't do it.
Yeah, he was much more for the little guy, which is funny because Iron Man, even if you watch the Iron Man movies, is in it because he's building these toys and he just wants to play with them more than he's in it to actually
He's
help
not
people
standing up
most
for
of the time.
the small people.
No.
Now he's fine with stopping. He doesn't like it on the large scales what he's at, because that's why he shut down the weapons manufacturing when he was realizing the toll on it. Well, really, when he's kidnapped by people who are using these weapons.
But speaking I really enjoy his conflict that he has
Iron Man
in his
his
and I'm like, that is going to build so much more, that it's because he's such a robotics and a technology person, he understands, and it's the only reason he's doing it is he understands Big Brother's coming.
Yeah,
he understands the inevitability of needing the control.
He's already seen what happens with an all-powerful robot having all the information on there. So.
Yes. let alone Zola's algorithm.
Yeah.
Right. Like, he understands it's coming and what needs to happen.
But and that's another thing too, is I don't know how much we're gonna get to see of that going forward, because you don't have a lot of Iron Man stuff coming out, especially at least not with Robert Downey Jr. At some point after Phase 3, there's going to be a point where they're going to start recasting these characters. So you're going to see it'll keep continuing on, and whether you get these stories of them passing down the mantle of their character to someone else.
I mean, Iron Man, the new Iron Man.
Yeah. New Iron Man. I mean, instead of either passing it down to a next generation of it, passing on the mantle, or it just being recast and just continuing on James Bond style.
Yeah.
One of the two is going to happen, so we're not going to see the same way.
The Avengers are Time Lords.
It could be, but if you have our same Tony Stark going forward, then we can get to explore.
I do want to see.
Character.
I hope, because that is a fun.
At this point.
That's a fun conflict.
It is, but I don't think you're going to get to see that one continue on as much as we want it to.
Yeah.
They just don't have the time in the movies. If it were a TV series, they could do more. But otherwise, you're having Captain America Civil War Part 2, or realistically, you should have Iron Man Civil War. Like, you have the other characters' version. So now we're going to focus on this character.
Yeah, the next opportunity would be Infinity War.
But Infinity War, they're going to be too busy dealing with other things. They're going to have references to it. Like in the past Avengers films, you have them mentioning things that are reminiscent of Civil War and getting towards that the same philosophy.
I guess I never really thought of that, and I guess that might be the thing that is going to be the most disappointing in one regard, is that
we're not going to get to see more.
We're done now.
Discussion. Yeah, this is all we get to see of the Civil War conflict. As far as I'm seeing in there. Now, X-Men, like, you always get any of their films, they can always go with mutant registration and mutant rights, because that's just a core element of theirs. And why in the comic books, when the Avengers go to the X-Men's compound to go get them to be a part of them. They say, we don't really want to be involved in this because we've got our own fight that we're trying to fight for our own civil rights. So we don't want to deal with superhero registration when we're already dealing with mutant rights.
Mutant rights.
Unfortunately, the best thing you're going to get in movies going forward is just like what we've gotten building up to Civil War. Those moments of tension that you felt between Captain and Iron Man. But I don't know how they're going to go forward and make it a complete story at this point.
I think it'll just be
unless it's in TV series.
That's probably what it is. Like maybe they'll just, because they did this, they already hinted at it in the film, where it's like Iron Man already went out and accepted Captain's help during moments, even though Captain is a vigilante.
He's already realized part of his side is wrong in this film.
Yeah.
He helped.
And then the end letter is confirming that. Like,
he helped fine with that, and he said, if you ever need us, we're going to still be here.
Like we're still friends, but
and in the moment,
not officially by the government standards.
The highest point that Iron Man got. So he got to the first point, which is on the side of the law and just straight being up with that. He wasn't emotional at that point. It was just purely, he was emotional in the sense of he knew what happened to that one kid. He knows that happens more times over, and once you put a face on the lives that are lost in there.
Yeah.
So he's got that emotion towards it, but it's not personal. It's personal only to the extent of I'm responsible for this stuff.
Right.
But when he gets to seeing that Bucky Barnes killed his parents, that's when you get to the super, it's all gone. All reason and rationality is gone from that point. He can't even process that this isn't Bucky Barnes doing this. This is the Winter Soldier. He's been brainwashed into doing this.
Yeah.
He can't process that in that moment, and he's fueled by hatred in that. And you get the great thing that T'Chaka gets to talk about of seeing people consumed by vengeance and not doing that. Because he can be more rational in that. He had more distance to think those things out because it's been more time since his father was killed.
And he has already made a mistake.
Yes.
T'Chaka.
Yes.
He's already made a mistake about who the identity of his killer was.
Yes. So he doesn't want.
So he can distance. He goes. Okay.
But he's also had all of that time from the beginning of his father getting killed. This is. Tony Stark's brought right back to the moment of his parents' death at that point.
He finds out in front of the murderer.
Yes. And so it's instantly, I see you there, I'm going to kill you. Then this guy is trying to stop me from killing the guy who murdered my parents.
Yeah.
No, I am going to do whatever it takes to kill this guy. I'm going to get through you to get him.
There's too much vengeance in the moment for him to control himself, honestly, and that's a natural response.
So after he's been defeated, after they've left, he's had time to cool down. By the time he's gotten that letter, he's been able to process it and understand it. The same way that he went about and saw that Bucky was framed for the first murder. So he was able to rationalize that. I don't think it's a big leap from that point for Tony to say he was brainwashed into doing this. It wasn't him who killed it. Exactly. You understood that from seeing the movie. So he had more time to distance himself. So I think from that point, the relationship between Captain America and Tony Stark isn't as destroyed as as Zemo thinks he did, because he thinks that the rift is there, but really you've put scars on them.
Yeah,
they are going to be hurt by it. They're not going to be as strong possibly as they were before. It's going to take some time for that to heal, but they're still willing to work together.
Yeah,
it'll be hard for them to come back together as the Avengers.
And I guess I'll say that
it's strained.
If the right thing is for them, they can put their differences aside and
it's
go towards
for the greater good.
Like if there was some
the greater good
giant guy with a big gauntlet trying to destroy the universe, like that kind of thing.
Great power becomes great responsibility.
Some kind of guy that destroys half the population.
I think we will get to see more. They're going to have to address the events of this, at least in films like Black Panther.
I'm so excited.
Because that's where they're hiding out. They're split there for that reason. T'Chaka's death his father, all that stuff. They're going to have to. They will be addressing why they're separated from that.
Yeah.
So those things will get brought up, but I don't know if we're not going to see anything about it in Guardians 2. Because they're not even part of this.
That's not
there.
Well,
and
unless they surprise us, right? Like
a Spider-Man movie could talk about it.
But there's only the animated one. There's like an animated Spider-Man. Yeah, I don't think it's not officially part of the universe.
No, Sony Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There's the Sony Spider-Man movie, which is part of it. It's now connected to the Marvel Studios universe.
Cool.
Even though Sony's going to be distributing it. They're
in coupling though.
It's Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Taking a step back, it's fascinating to me. I was expecting the entire battle between Captain America and Iron Man and Bucky Barnes trying to get away for Black Panther to jump out of the wall at any second and start attacking too, and it to be a four-way battle. So it's going back to being able to take a step back and look at things objectively. Black Panther was able to do that in the film.
Absolutely.
That's just what Tony wasn't able to do in the moment.
I think in that moment he wasn't able to yet.
Then why didn't he show up? He was in the room.
And that's why he backed off, because he was in the background when Zola was confessing, and Zola said, "Oh, this and that and the other thing," and Black Panther went, "Oh, it was actually Zola, really? It wasn't the Winter Soldier," and that's why he didn't get involved.
Yeah.
Was because he was after Zola, and Zola bailed, and he's like, "I'm not letting Zola get away. Fuck that guy."
Yeah, he was sneaking around in the background, and so he wasn't consumed by the vengeance going after that Tony was. So that's what started that whole fight. But while they're doing that, and Zemo, not Zola, but Zemo is just
shit. God damn it.
Fine. Zola's a different character in a different one.
I know.
But
Z's.
But he's as he's sneaking away, that's when he just follows him after that and gets to him.
I'm getting so involved in my conversation.
I just wanted to see Black Panther fight more. So that was a little saddening that he wasn't able to jump into that fight, though.
Cat suit.
Incidentally, I had totally forgotten.
So what's with the cats?
I had totally forgotten that this piece of canon, when I was watching the movie, and I was like, "Oh my God, Captain America, what are you doing?" I had totally forgotten that Iron Man had fixed his heart.
Yes.
Oh,
no,
I spaced on that as well.
the fuck out.
That's the other thing too. Is that's the power source that's powering his suit, and not the power, not the one that he had before. That was his heart and keeping the shrapnel away from his heart. There.
I thought Iron Man was gone.
Yeah, and that was the entire theater's reaction both times I saw it too.
Like I see so.
What? Like, that's going after his heart. You've killed him.
Cap, what are you doing, man?
But that's the brilliance of it. He immobilized him, and he knows what his suit's going. So
no. So I just forgotten.
Yeah. So it was a good, it was a strong moment because you got that feeling of it. But
I said that there was one thing that I was disappointed in.
Yes.
And that was I had been talking about this with some coworkers about the film, and about Captain America was one of him hiding the information.
Captain hiding the information
from Tony the whole time doesn't seem super in character for him. It seems like it's straying a bit from who Captain. Like I don't know. At least from what I understand. Like,
but
I haven't
think
read
about
it was in protection of Bucky, though.
Think about it in this way: tensions are already high in that moment. Bucky's the guy who they're going after to try to chase down, and Captain America and Iron Man are in the conflict about the Sokovia Accords. So with the tensions already high in that, and him saying that he was trying to protect Tony. He's trying to protect Tony's emotions in that moment, so that he could have given that information later when things have calmed down a little bit. Even though that was the first time he got the information, it doesn't seem too out of character. He seems out of character for him to hide it forever, but for him to look at that moment and be like, "Am I gonna?" From getting this information, he just then learned he's all right. So he's on the run from Iron Man, and he's just learned that the guy who he's chasing down and supposed to bring in, one, isn't responsible, but two, is responsible. While he was a zombie, for killing Iron Man's parents. Is he then going to go, "Oh, you know who would want to hear about this? Let me call up Tony. Hey, Tony, funniest thing. You know your parents?"
I'm not saying that he specifically goes out of his way immediately to go tell him. But what I am saying, though, is that it wouldn't behoove him to say something before...
I just don't
know the moment that it all I felt like
how did he know Iron Man was going to find out?
I think the moment that he could have, the only opportunity he had was once the video starts playing and it's the date is on there.
And then it wouldn't have behooved him then even.
There were many references to that date.
Yeah.
And there was many references to whatever the fucking guy's name is.
Baron Zemo.
Baron Zemo's going asking about that date.
Yes, but our main characters aren't involved in that scene. It's just Bucky that's involved in the second scene with that in it. But the first scene in it is just Zemo. So the date gets brought up multiple times in there, but not with Cap involved.
Not with Iron Man involved. More importantly,
Cap watching from the interrogation from the meeting room because
videos it was all blacked out.
It was already blacked out by that point.
All the power was off. Everything.
That's right. Yeah,
because if he brought up that date while the video was on, he knows that Iron Man would know that date. Like Tony Stark would know that date if he brought that up at that point.
Yeah. All right.
because he knows when and where his parents were killed. So so he's not going to bring that up in front of them. He was just asking normal questions. So your first name is James. You need to talk to me, and like that stuff.
Right,
Then
right.
video goes down, and he's like, "All right, let's get down to business." Once the power has gone out, there.
It'd be nice to rewatch to make sure about that. Actually,
I have seen
but
it twice, so I do.
Like
We'll say that, but
I felt like Captain did know. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah,
I still
I
Well,
think
Captain wouldn't have especially have thought of that the second he heard that date either. It wasn't so ingrained in his brain as it would be in Iron Man's.
yeah.
I guess my thing about it is it doesn't even matter that he knew that the date was around and that people were talking about it and that it was something coming up. It was just more of one of those things where it's like the reason he has the powers he does is because he's such a goddamn goody two-shoe Boy Scout.
He is.
And
But he doesn't have the ability.
Language.
He doesn't just automatically tell all the information he knows to someone. Yeah, I think he would have told it.
He's
in different,
protecting his
if
friends.
the circumstances were different. I think he doesn't want to bring up that incident to him because it does no good to tell him it now. It doesn't change his parents' death. It doesn't change anything about it.
if he told him while tensions were high. Here's my thing. You're saying that tensions were high and that's why he didn't.
Yes.
Tony was already wanting to go after the Winter Soldier,
Yes.
period.
He wants to bring him down for the bombing.
And
That's before he knows.
it would not change. Do you really think, I don't know, it would have changed anything that
In the same way that in the first battle in the airport, they are fighting on principle in that moment. They're fighting for the way the law is. Now T'Chaka doesn't care, as he was saying, and I don't think we've met yet. I don't care, and just he's fighting because his father was murdered by Bucky Barnes.
Yeah.
And that's what he's fighting after. But everyone else is fighting over the law of it. You can't do this. Like, we need to stand here together with the law. No, we need to go after this and do this thing. So that's that battle that's going on between them at that moment. Once we saw the moment that happens when Tony Stark gets emotion involved, and we saw what happens when anyone tells him that was involved. Now, if Cap actually didn't know, and he goes to him and says, "Did you know about this?" And he honestly didn't know, and that was fine, then it would be cool. And then he turns around and goes to kill Bucky. But in this way, he's got the little added thing of he doesn't want to kill Tony because of that. He wants to kill Tony if Tony's going to stop him from killing Bucky Barnes. But his thing in that moment is, I want to kill Bucky because he killed my parents to get vengeance for them. But you knew about this and didn't tell me, so then also I don't care if I hurt you.
Yeah.
In this case. So we've seen what happens when the tensions are raised. So if that happened at the airport, if you told him at the airport, "Oh, I'm going to save this guy because he didn't really do the bombing, but he also kills your parents," and they'd be,
I tell you what. Tell us in the comments below.
yeah, tell us in the comments below
What do
think about
you
it.
think?
Look, if you've got, I've heard people's complaints about the movie in
Do
story
you
in
think
different ways,
Captain
and I like to
America-
talk about that stuff with people.
Yeah.
So I'll rant. I'll do my nice thread on your replies on this. But I like having a good conversation about movies. I'm fine with there being holes in
Yeah.
it, but if there, I just don't think.
You don't think you don't think it
I don't think
it hurt. It wasn't against the character. Of
no, I don't think
don't
the
think
heart
so.
of Captain America.
I
No.
do not think so.
Well, you let us know what you think. I'm not trying to sign off here. This is just me saying, hey.
It's such a sign off. All right,
I know
what
it
other-
is.
Any other thoughts about this movie is going on? The moments that you love. Ant-Man, you got to mention Ant-Man's amazing scene there and becoming Giant Man.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
It was. I mean, Ant-Man's always great in there.
And I immediately thought of, in Civil War, like, oh, they needed a giant. Oh, well, they got their giant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that scene in there.
I love how they didn't overstate Ant-Man too. They didn't
Yeah.
make it about Ant-Man being in the movie. Like his
No.
introduction was super instant.
pulled
Like
in.
this is who he is. This is what he does. Okay, that's it. And they didn't explain him, which wasn't necessary. There
Well,
was
but you
so much in
also-
the movie that it worked perfectly.
It's fine for people. It's fine for people that don't know him, but people that did love Ant-Man, you get to see that in the looking at him and Falcon.
Yeah.
I loved his, half minute of comedy.
Good audition. Not happen again.
When he gets out of the van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
That was
great,
good comedy in it.
Half minute of comedy.
Spider-Man had great comedy throughout it.
Oh my god,
too,
yeah, the
and
character I actually really enjoyed.
I don't know if you've ever been in a fight before, but there's usually not this much talking.
Okay. I loved Vision and Scarlet Witch's
Yes.
subtle romance in there.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that was coming because I haven't read too many of the comics, and that was beautifully
that's a big thing in
executed.
comics there.
Also,
Big demo.
Vision's one line of, "Oh, I didn't know I could get distracted."
Yes.
Yes.
It's so having an omnipotent creature like that. It's someone who has super focus, but love will take that apart. And yeah.
There's a spoiler I've already avoided Amy hearing from my lips before.
For which? A spoiler of what? Of the movie?
Well,
because she's seen the movie.
yeah,
I've seen the movie.
it's future story from the comic
Okay.
that is likely to be repeated. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll
yeah.
survive.
A certain betrayal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to go into.
And I
into
really
spoiling
liked.
all the
I'll say I
things from
really like
every comic,
the cinematography for like the people. I really enjoyed. There were references to future comics in the movie that I was like, oh shit, they're making like, and it was this subtle, like really nuanced and just juxtaposition and from scene to scene and stuff like that. And I
because
was
it's
like,
Marvel Studios, because you've got people behind it who work with the comics.
Yeah.
It's just you get all of those things where it's tied into the book so much better. It's better than back in the day when it like. When they went to make Superman Lives, which never came out, but there's the documentary of it, The Death of Superman Lives. It was the Tim Burton follow-up to the Batman movies. It was going to be Tim Burton's Superman movie with Nicolas Cage. And when they go to hire writers for it, and they contact Kevin Smith and go to hire Kevin Smith for it, and he says, I'm honored. I'd love to write this, but why don't you get the guys who write the comics to write it?
Yeah.
Because they would be best at it. And they said, no, those aren't movie writers. Those are comic writers. They wouldn't know how to do it.
it's like you,
It's
you,
like,
don't,
but
you don't understand.
They're story writers.
You want to make a movie out of the stories that they write. Why not put them involved with that?
At least,
nothing else-
they're part of the team.
Yeah, if
And I mean,
nothing
they
else, make
still-
them the story writers, and you can like team with them to show them
Yeah.
how to do a movie script.
And they still do that now. I mean, all these comic book movies aren't written by the comic book writers, but they at least care about the comics and work with the writers of the comics to actually, make something that resembles the same kind of storytelling that you want to see in there. You're not taking it and completely changing it around.
That's what I'm excited about for Spider-Man 2, though, is something more aligned with the comics, even more so than we've seen so far.
Yeah, and there's so many versions of Spider-Man throughout the books, and I personally I prefer the Spider-Mans who build their web slingers rather than have it shooting out of them. Because spiders should have them shooting out of their butts, so it should be. Spider-Man.
That would be interesting to see.
Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, where?
Well, you know it would come up. You know where it would come from if it was in Korea.
Yeah. Tentacles. So.
Or was that China? I think it was Korea. Anyway,
right.
whatever.
Just cut that whole part out.
You don't want to talk about that statue?
Oh, that statue. I remember that statue.
Yeah.
The Happy Spider-Man statue. So yeah, I love the movie. It was good stuff.
Really good. I really thought they did a good job considering the cuts the changes they were forced to make because they had to make a movie.
One, you're forced into the time constraint of the movie, even though it's 2.5 hours long. It's still
That is really short.
That's short compared to what you can get away with in like Daredevil's TV series. Like,
Yeah.
You can go so much more into depth into those things.
Also
and
considering
in a comic book series, you can go so much more with that.
They had to put in so many more heroes.
Yeah, you had to fit in all your Avengers in there to get the battle in there. And since you have all the heroes in there, you now have to give them some more heft to their thing rather than just the fight. A couple of them you have just in the fight, like with Ant-Man. But you've built a lot more around that. You've set up Black Panther so that he can go off into his own movie.
Yes.
So you needed to get that in the way. We just came out of Winter Soldier, so you need to continue the Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier storyline in addition to the Civil War storyline.
Yeah.
But by having that Civil War storyline, you've added so much more to it than just I need to track down Bucky Barnes. And I think they did a great balance of that to make it was, I mean, our title character is Captain America, and the main focus of it is Captain America's story throughout this. But it could easily, if you had called it Avengers Civil War, then it would seem like it's too heavy on Captain America for an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So that's where I was thinking about with that one. But, I mean, overseas, you could easily just call it Avengers
The
Civil
entire
War.
Avengers were really only involved in that one fight scene, which is kind of why it wasn't an Avengers movie specifically.
And it was probably as most even of Captain America and Iron Man.
Yes.
And going back and forth between the two of them. but it was more of the driving force was Iron Man there with then the conflict coming in with that. It's, I mean, like talking about a Batman versus Superman thing where it's your Batman's first name in the title on that one. Your main focus is going to be Batman, but you also have Superman's conflict in there. Batman versus Spider-Man would be an interesting one.
I really wanted to see Spider-Man and Ant-Man go head-to-head just because they're both insects. It didn't happen enough, but I just really wanted the bugs to fight in that fight scene so badly.
I mean, the web slinging onto a tiny guy, and then it's kind of.
I just wanted more of it.
But you did get to see Spider-Man take down Ant-Man,
yes.
Giant Man in that one. Plus with the references to Star Wars, which is now also Disney property, so all of the happy stuff connected together.
I really liked some of the little things they played with, and they did the reference with Ant-Man riding Hawkeye's arrow.
Yes,
and then
so good.
I really liked the hey Captain, throw this at that.
Yes. Oh, I thought that was a water truck.
Oh God.
Going into Iron Man's suit and taking it down, like just so many of the battles between each other. In the first Avengers movie is when you first got to see like Iron Man or Thor versus Captain America, and like the hammer onto the shield thing, and you got to see that battle. But so there was a bit of that was fun to see in there. But this one, there was so much more behind it, as the the emotion behind it, but also the reasoning before they're fighting. There was a lot more for that. There was changing sides mid battle for Black Widow.
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
That's well done. And
it showed the connection, because that was what bothered me about Black Widow going over to Iron Man's side for the beginning, because they had such a great connection going on in Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
like her and Captain America, they were just working so well together. So it all made sense when she switched sides. I was like, yes, it's your friend. You came back to that, and that's an important key that I'm glad they didn't completely ignore.
When they're sitting in a boardroom together and sitting around a table and discussing the ideas of the Sokovia Accords and what this could mean. So there she takes the side of Iron Man there and thinking it out and being like, yeah, this is probably the best idea to do it this way. When you're in the heat of a battle and saying, I'm gonna destroy you so that you don't go and do this, saying, you believe in what you're doing, I'm gonna let you do this.
But even in the boardroom where she was discussing both ideas, she wasn't fully immediately on Captain's side. She was like, I think Tony has a point, but even at that point, she didn't. Yeah, she convinced herself of it, but she wasn't completely for Tony right away. She was like, wait, you guys are my friends and you're both disagreeing. What's up with that?
And Tony went into the argument through emotion. He went into the Sokovia Accords through emotion. So he's harder to reason out of it because he didn't reason himself into it. But Black Widow reasoned into it. Yes. So she's easier to go to a different side on that.
And eventually, in the comic books, Captain reasons himself into it too. He just takes a lot longer.
Yeah. Like they all go for it, Yeah. Something's gonna be done. But I mean, still, if stuff happens, they're still gonna stop it. They'll sign the papers. And
that's what was funny was that throughout most of the film, I think you mentioned this when we were watching it. I don't know, maybe you side language to me, Amy. But that Iron Man just, when something happened, he just went and did.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and it was just like, wait, what? Aren't you part of the? Yeah,
he completely didn't go with it. Like
there was the moment where they were very much so trying to point that out that he's going behind the government's back, but every other time it wasn't
because he signed on because it's the thing of he's dealing with his marriage falling apart, and so he wants to stop being Iron Man for her.
Yeah,
but he can't. He can't do it, and he's saying he thinks that the Sokovia Accords will help me stop it because now legally I can't do it. But he's not going to be stopped by the law. That's not a thing that he's never been able to have other people tell him what to do.
Yeah.
So he's trying to put these limitations on himself, but it's not going to work. He fights hard to keep on one side of it, but really, if something goes down, he's going to go after it. If he's able to, at least. So, if he's got whatever suit with him, he can.
This has the potential to really go in a different direction from the comics.
Oh yeah,
and I think it might.
Then they've been doing that.
Nobody even have your so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how they do. Well, I mean, it's not going to go the same with the comics. You don't have as many heroes and splitting up Avengers into different.
Well, the storyline isn't set up the same way as the comics, so there has to be differences. But I feel like they're trying to adhere to it as much as possible.
And I think it was a good way of going about it to not just And I was worried to some degree that it's just kind of shoehorning the Civil War storyline into the existing universe, and just saying, well, Civil War was a big comic for us, and we want to be able to get that because it'll get ticket sales. But I think they found an organic way for it to fit into the story.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was good. I was surprised no one died.
yeah, except for a major television character, Peggy Carter, Agent Carter, who has her series on ABC.
But her death was
but now
expected
we know,
eventually.
But now we know that she's not going to live to be 100 years old. That's a
Did we
big
know her
spoiler for the
age?
TV series. Where eventually that series is going to end. They can't go that long with it. It's only going to run.
It's
for
like
another...
humans have a lifespan.
Oh my
or something.
gosh!
It's ridiculous, So yeah, you've got her death. You've got.
But they did do the crippling. They iron sighted.
Yeah, they
What?
That was the joke earlier.
Yeah, they crippled War Machine. Friggin' Rhodey.
Vision hit his spine.
Yeah.
Or
Oh.
well, it hit him,
Yes.
and
hit
then
him and made him fall.
he fell and broke his spine.
But he was
Yeah.
walking again
with Tony's devices.
with Tony. Yes,
So
He's still a
there's
paraplegic.
still hope
I
for
think
him.
he's still a paraplegic.
that's yeah, he is a paraplegic. He cannot walk. He can only walk with the assistance of these machines, which are walking for him.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving his legs and doing that. But,
Yes.
So that'll be fun with the Sokovia Accords going forward.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a little, but with the Iron Man
Just for him as like a
himself,
person, I mean.
it's essentially like
he is forever part
machine.
Part machine, yeah.
In that way, yeah. But his brain's not taken over by it. He already made that mistake with Ultron.
Yeah.
And now he's got freaking Vision going around. That's his fault. That's Tony's fault that we have Vision going around now. Vision was great. Loved his stuff.
He gonna die.
Vision was great.
The other thing I was thinking of, it was great to see that you've got so many black characters around that table. What with so many comic book things being white, so it's at least something. Because you with Falcon and Rhodey and Vision and T'Chaka all around the table. I mean, Vision himself is, he's a cyborg, but still. Pretty close. Like when they first announced doing Black Panther movie, it's like, okay, we get him, black.
Yeah, he's one of the blackest ones there. Paul Bettany, come on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's he's in blackface the entire film. I don't know if you noticed this.
I think it was red.
Dude, like later, like when in real life, when robots take over, they're like.
So red face is okay. Really? Blackface is bad, but red face you're fine with.
Really, Vision is going to end up being like a civil rights issues for robots later, where they're going to say, "Look at this! It's going to be like just like blackface,
course
but it's
it is.
robot face."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so from what I understand too, there's only 4 Infinity Stones.
Terminators
We've
in
had
the
more
wars.
than 4 appear so far in the
There's 6.
films. Okay.
6 Infinity Stones.
Okay, because it was throwing me off that he had one in his head and the number I counted.
Yeah.
Thanks for
There's
clarifying.
6 stones. I mean, there's probably other stones in the universe that do magical things, but only 6 that need to be gotten for
At
the
least
Infinity
for
Gauntlet.
the comic book,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because they showed 4. But that's what she said.
In the book?
No, in the movie.
Yeah, no, in the movie we've seen 4, or we've seen so many of them because we keep seeing the same ones over and over.
Well, he had that dream.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
I thought they showed more.
No, they showed
I thought
4.
they had showed more.
I thought they only showed 4.
I thought there were 6. I know the glove that he has only has 6 places for it.
6
at the end of
sockets?
6 sockets. It's at the end of Ultron, the Thanos scene.
Okay, well, I'm
So post
probably
credit
wrong.
scenes. Post credit scenes here.
Have
We
to look 'em
saw
over.
the T'Chaka Black Panther setup
Yeah.
at the end of that one.
Oh, and don't worry,
Epic
guys.
location.
Spider-Man will return.
Yeah, that was. But the
If you had
Spider-Man-
any doubt.
But the Spider-Man scene where he's got the the little Apple Watch, Tony Stark watch thing on there. If it wasn't just showing the Spider-Man symbol, it was also all the symbols around it were like an operating system
Yeah.
for Spider-Man's suit.
Iron Spider.
Iron Spider is exactly what I was thinking there. Now, we can't have full-on Iron Spider yet because, again, with the Sony thing, if you put your first Spider-Man movie out there with Tom Holland and he's got that iron suit on, that's kind of messed up. But we at least saw that he made his own suit, and then the suit that we saw now is made by Tony Stark. So we've seen
It's going to be a progression.
him wearing it, but there's more that suit can do that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
So there's
Those
at least
eyes
that.
were epic.
Yeah. There's something that we've seen there, but yeah, I think there is potential for Iron Spider eventually. Maybe he'll need that in future movies, and they'll create that for him. He's got to see some Iron Spider, and I'm sure it's not easy for him to swing around in that, so he's not going to wear it all the time, even if he did have it. It's kind of like Iron Batman suit, where you don't, that's not for everyday wear. That's only for certain times. All right. So yeah, good talk.
Yeah.
Gonna rate this one, I guess. Do we want to rate this one?
Oh shit, I don't
So,
know.
you know, I don't
Fine.
know.
Whatever.
I mean, I gave it a 4.5 on my app on the Rotten Tomatoes little scoring thing.
Is that out of 5?
Out of 5? Yeah, 4.5. I mean, you can give it. I think a half is the lowest on that one. You might be able to give it. I think not interested is the lowest. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those in a lot of the Marvel movies. There's they're not perfect films or some way, and they're still their own kind of thing. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it. I'm gonna watch.
Yeah.
I've already seen it twice. I'm happy to watch it multiple times. I know I'm gonna buy it, and it's all part of a series essentially. So it's not even just
An
standing alone in
epic.
that way. Yeah.
I'd give it a good 4 stars, most definitely. I mean, just out of 5.
Yeah.
It deserved it.
Steffan, what do you think?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna assume Tony gave it a 1 because it wasn't exactly like the comic.
Yeah. Tony gave it a 1.
Yeah.
What a jerk. For I don't know, 4.5. I'm not really sure,
All right.
to be honest.
Yeah, it's super tough to do them like right after a movie's in theaters too, because if you do it, you can't do it the moment you get out of a movie.
Yeah.
No.
You just can't.
No.
They're like 5 stars. This is great. Love it.
I have a lot more opinions the next day on most movies than I do right after I've seen them.
Chris, what do you give this movie?
I give it 7 out of
5?
yes.
7 out of 5. Great.
It's totally worth your time.
I think you should probably see it then if you give it that high.
I'm glad
Like,
you
that's
enjoyed
a-
it so much.
Yeah, because hold on, I'm playing my Simpsons tab.
Well, thanks all for watching. I know this is kind of long video on there, but you probably didn't watch most of it anyway. But you did, and we thank you for watching this long or just skipping ahead to the end.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
Ba.
I don't know.
We can't steal that one. Yeah, we're gonna try to do this series more often, where we talk about movies that are in theaters, and the hosts probably gonna rotate on that because not everyone goes to
No, yeah, they don't all go see the same.
everything
movies
that's in
and
theaters.
stuff,
But we're
yeah.
trying to do this more
Normally,
often with
he
big-
will probably be involved. He just doesn't like Marvel.
Yeah.
That's the 7 stars.
I also don't like DC.
so don't worry about that either. It's not like he's picking sides there.
But
He just hates
Tony,
nerds.
Tony will normally be here. He's just a jerk and hasn't seen Civil War yet.
Hey, John,
Um,
where's your lunch money, John?
Yeah, so expect, especially for the big movies, we're going to do this for. So looking forward to the year. I know Warcraft is going to be one.
I probably
we're
won't
talk
be
about
involved.
X-Men,
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Yes.
That's way down the line, but yes, Rogue One.
Yes.
Absolutely
Rogue One.
And we know that Doctor Strange is coming out later this year too. So get that one. But also smaller films too. I don't even know the names of them because they're smaller films. We'll talk about all that stuff. But thanks all for watching. Cinema Discussions.
Participated.